Alright, it's Hawco back with another lap guide for Race C. We are currently in the WRX, going around Maggiore, full course, 1 times tires, 7 times fuel. Short shifting helps a little bit, but fuel saving I don't think is as important as you think. It's better to run flat out, just because you get that much more speed down the straightaways and you can make that much more of a gap and just stay out of traffic. Okay, so coming into this corner, second last corner section, little S-curve. Come up from the outside curb all the way at the very end of it. So you want to use this second red and white curb on the left here to help you stay to the left side of the road and kind of give you a little bit of extra road to lead the car in, right? And just take your time trail braking, come in a little bit late, and then I want you to get your left side tires on this curb and cut this. Hold it, hold your right tires on here, okay? Then come off the curb, flat out in 4th gear, hold 4th for that whole corner. And then put your left side tires right on this little gray curb in between the red and white one and the sausage. All the way around this corner. Alright, so hold 4th. Okay, right before the end of the curb is your braking point. There's this braking board right here. This is about the same as the end of the curb. Right about here. You just want to brake for a second. Start leading the car in, but don't full brake. Be nice and gentle on the brakes, so that way when you start to turn in, the car's not sliding, and you're getting full grip with all 4 tires. And then I want you to put your right side tires on this curb. Cut as much of it as you can, so that way when you get to this point, you can go straight-ish. Mostly straight. You should be at around 170 kilometers an hour by the time you get to this point in the track. Right, nice and light braking, only half brake. Alright, so turn 1, you want to use this fence right here. Right before the end of this fence is when you're going to start braking. So look for this little camera guy, right after this braking board. Okay. So you've just got a little bit of fence at the end, like two sections of it. Right? That's going to give you plenty of time to brake in a straight line. Get the car slowed down, so that way when you ease off the brakes, it doesn't skid. And you can commit to the corner, cut this, put your right-hand tires on this inside curb, and then try to hold a little bit left, and try to stay around here on the road, in the middle, to set you up for the hairpin. A little off the mark, but close enough. Okay, coming out of this corner, you want to come in here, make sure you aren't understeering. Okay, so brake in a little bit early, only really, really light braking. Then you're going to come off the brakes, you're going to shift down to 2nd, you're going to ease on the gas, commit to your steering, and if you have to, ease on the gas, right, go to full throttle, and then lift and then go back to full throttle if it understeers. So like if you're coming out of this corner, it starts understeering on you, lift for a second. Stay committed to your steering, maybe even turn a little bit more, and then get back on the gas. And the rear end should want to rotate around. If you do it right, you should hit the throttle right about here. A little bit sooner. And when you get to full throttle, the car will almost feel like the rear end wants to come around on you. Not quite, but close. And that's way better than understeer. I would rather the rear end want to rotate in this thing and then I can just point it straight and go rather than understeer out into this grass. Okay, just coming a little bit to the right of this white line. You might notice there's like a little wave in the track where you come up a little bit and then back down, right? Right after this, this little X right here from the other section of track. Just after here is when you want to start your turn in. And see these black marks right here on the track? Kind of like faint. This is basically where you want to stay. Start coming in. And then you're going to lift halfway through the corner. And then ease back on the throttle. And stay left. So the most you should be coming out to the right side of the track, coming out of this corner, is like right here. That's about it. Maybe like half the track. Or if you're on the outside line, then yeah, you might have to use this part of the road. But for the racing line, you can just stay in the middle. And then you can brake on the outside of the track going into the last corner before the long straight. So you're going to come in here. References. I mostly go by feel going into this corner, but honestly, when you're about even with this part of road, where this little red and black section is, draw an imaginary line all the way across, that's your braking point. Right here, I'll pause it exactly when I brake. Alright, a little bit earlier than that. So where am I at? Yeah. Pretty much dead even. With this piece of track. Draw a line straight across, that's your braking point. If you're looking into here, use these black boards on the side. So basically, you don't want to brake after this first board. This first board is your braking point. So you brake mostly straight, right? Lead the car out to the left a little bit. Trail brake in. Get on this inside curb. And then use the exit curb. On the exit here, you can use a little bit more curb if you want. Like you can be out here with your right side tires barely hanging onto this curb. And then come back over. Just carry a little bit more speed. Okay. This little curb on the left, this is my braking point. Right here. After I go past this, I know that's my point of no return. I know after this, I have to brake, keep it on the left side of the road without turning too much. So the key is, don't lock the rear brakes up, right? If you turn too much and you give it too much brake, you're coming into a right-hand corner and you're on the edge of the track. Okay? So you want to keep the wheel as straight as possible. Make sure all four tires stay gripping as you brake on the outside of the track. And then as you get up to here is when you're going to start coming off the brakes, right? Settle the car down, start leaning into your steering, lead the car in, go down to third, stay committed to your steering, ease on the throttle, and make sure you're not understeering on exit. So you want to be patient enough when you turn into this corner that you give yourself enough grip to turn. So if you come in too hot, it's just not going to turn. It's going to understeer all the way into this corner. You're going to get the crappiest exit known to man, and you're going to get passed by the entire field because you're going to end up out here having to lift. If you have to lift on this curb, that's bad. So if you lift out on this curb and you coast along this curb trying to keep the car on the track, just stop earlier. Stop earlier, carry less speed through this corner, and don't floor it too early. If you floor it too early, you'll just understeer. That's just where the car is going to go. It's going to go straight. So if you want to make up time, be really smooth and controlled with your braking and be able to come into here in a controlled way faster than everybody else. So that way when you get to this point, you have full control of the car, you get full grip with all 4 tires, it turns in like it should, and you can put your left side tires on this curb. And then get a wicked exit. The longer you wait to start turning into here, as long as you don't understeer into the corner or slide, that's good. You want to stay out here as long as possible. You just don't want to stay out here so long to the point where you go to turn in and it just doesn't turn and you're just stuck out here, right? You want to keep your eyes on that inside curb, but you also don't want to go off the edge of the track. Okay, so the most you want to put on here is your left side tires. Track limit right here, just put your left side tires here. That's all you need. If you have to go further over, I mean, as long as you hold it on the yellow stuff, you're fine. But you don't need that much speed coming out of that corner. You want to get back down to the inside, be tight for this, and then straight line. Smooth braking. All right, nice and patient, bringing the car in. Okay, about 3/4 of the way down this curb. Right? Look at how long the curb is, maybe like 2/3. You're gonna start braking right about here. So what do we got here? These starting grid things. Okay, so we have 3. 1 starting grid, 2nd starting grid, 3rd starting grid, right? This is a good reference for a braking point. Right about here, at this 3rd starting grid you see, that's your braking point. Brake on this curb, right? Start coming off the brakes as you turn in. Don't come off all the way. Just nice and light brake, lead it in, come off the brakes as you start to give it more steering, commit to the corner, put your left side tires on this and your right side tires on the inside curb, right? And you're going to stay left, you're going to hold it on this curb for as long as you can, so that way when you come back out, you can come into this corner full speed, flat out, comfortably, and put your left side tires on this curb. Like your left side tire should be cutting this little piece of grass right here in between these 2 curbs. Basically. Like that's how close you're going to be if you're going full speed. And then you're going to put your left side tire on this curb all the way through, and then you're going to come off this curb on this white stuff at the end of the curb. So you're going to stay on this curb with your left side tire all the way until here. And then you're going to go across this little part right here, right? Then you want to stay to the right a little bit. Then right here, start turning left. And you're going to put your left side tires right on the inside of this curb right here. Right on this. This is where I want your left side tires. And then as you get through here, right about here, I keep my left side tires on this curb all the way out of the corner. So my left side tires come straight across this grass, and then I shift to 5th. So most people come through here, and they'll turn a little bit late, not lead the car in, and they'll just understeer all the way through the corner, right? They end up like out here, having to use like this, all this crap, right? You get some people that are like way out here on exit. But these cars aren't going fast enough. These things are gutless. So the most you'll need, you know what I mean, is like right about here. That's not bad. And you're going to shift to 5th. Gently turn in. carry full speed, keep the car as straight as possible, and you can split this curb. So put your left side tires right on the left side of this sausage and just go straight. And if you don't want to do that, well, then you can just put your left side tires on this curb and just don't hit the sausage. All right. Then all the way to the inside of this curb. Your right side tires better be right next to the grass going through this corner. And don't turn too much. So turn nice and gently and make sure the car wants to come into the inside without understeering so that you keep accelerating through this corner. If you turn too much going through this corner and you scrub off 2 kilometers an hour, that matters. Yeah, so turning into this corner, you want to turn a little bit before the end of it. About this much. So you brake from about the 3rd starting grid to the 4th one. And then you're going to cut across it right here. And then all I want you to look for is this inside curb. And focus on putting your right tires on this curb. Right? I'm already turning to the right. Like, it doesn't look like I'm going to make that corner. It looks like I'm going to get a shortcut penalty, right? But this is how much of a dirty cheater I am. Yep. This is how good I am at abusing track limits. I'm 100% confident here that I'm not going to take a penalty. That's how fucked up it is. Right? No one should be this close to taking a penalty and be 100% sure that they aren't going to take a penalty. Yep, just clean. As straight as possible. Making sure I hold the inside all the way through this corner. Nice and steady. Right. End of the curb. My right tires are on the grass. Right. And then I go straight off. Start turning to the left. Nice and gently. Right? Nice and gentle. And my left side tires are going to cut on this grass for a second. Yep. But it's not actually touching it. But it's close enough. All right, holding inside, and my left side tires are on the grass. Right? Just straight off. Don't turn. You're not supposed to turn when you go on grass like this. You want to keep the car as straight as possible. Because any fluctuation in like steering angle will just make the car want to slide or scrub off a little bit of speed. And that's not what you want. All right. And I'm just letting the car go straight. I'm barely turning. The car's turning itself, basically. And I'm just staying steady with that steering angle all the way out of this corner. Nice and smooth. Ease up a little bit as the track straightens out. The stress comes off the right side of the car. Nice and light steering. All right, 50-meter board is your braking point. And I like to brake a little bit after the 50 board because I'm confident when I brake and I feel like I have enough time to stop. So just after you go past the 50, brake. So in between the 50 board and the end of this wall is basically your point of no return where you just won't stop. Okay? So you want to brake on this left-hand curb, straight, right? Still straight. Stay on the left side until you actually start to turn in and come off the brakes. So start coming off the brakes first, right? Gently turn in. I'm starting to come off the brakes. A little bit more. Just trail braking in fourth gear, being patient to downshift to third, right? And then I trail brake the rest of the way in, hook the car in, come off the brakes, commit to steering at this point in the corner because it's banked so much, and then I gently ease on the throttle to make sure the car is going to rotate, and then I just go full throttle once I feel it turn. Right, so my right side tires are on the grass, middle of that apex. The car shouldn't be understeering like crazy going through this corner. Okay, you don't have to come all the way to the right side of the track to go into this corner. You're probably going to lose more time staying out this far to the end of this curb because it's just faster to stay on the inside line more. Like, in reality, you're going the speed of smell on a Gr4. So it's not like you need that much road. This thing's going as fast as it can go, and it's barely accelerating up a hill, right? Okay, so these two corners. Okay, ride this inside curb all the way till the end of the curb. Including up to this little gray stuff at the end. The car's gonna bob for a second, right? It's gonna hit that. It's gonna bobble. Okay, and just stay smooth with your steering. You're gonna wanna stay to the left. Resist letting the car come across the track, because you don't want to understeer through this corner and you don't want to understeer on exit. So you have to set this up so you barely turn going into the corner and you barely turn all the way through, all the way to the exit curb. Okay? So I'm just going to barely turn. Right? I already know. Half the people that go around this track let the car go wide here, and then turn at least 90 degrees going through this corner. Like this video. If you come out of this left-hand corner, and you end up way out here going into this one, just smash that like button. You know what I mean? Just let me know. And then you get to here, and all of a sudden, you remember that there's a corner, and you have to make a sharp right going flat out. And then what you'll do is you'll turn 90 degrees, you'll come through here, and you'll just scrub off speed. And maybe even have to lift on the exit, which is just, it's a straightaway. This is all a straightaway. From the high bank to where my car is, this is a straightaway. Yes, there's corners, but at no point are you lifting. Therefore, it's a straightaway. Right? Okay, so second last corner, braking point, 50-meter board. Right? Just before the 50. You're going to want to brake on the outside curb with your left tires. Right? Firmly brake in a straight line. Gently come off the brakes. Gently turn into this corner. Just lead the car in. Once you get to about here, commit to your steering. Be patient on the throttle. Ease on the throttle. Let the car come out to this exit curb. Stay in fourth gear the whole time. Right? Use this little bit of curb. The second one. Right? So come in here. You can use this second one right here as your exit line. And then as you get here, you're going to drive mostly straight. Right? You're just going to gently come off this outside curb. Go mostly straight. Come off the brakes. Right? Lightly trail brake into the corner. Just nice and light, a little bit early, so that you can come off the brakes, roll, and then get back on the throttle early. All right? I pushed it in there a little bit sloppy. All right. And then right before the end of this curb, I'm barely even on the brakes. Right? When you're looking at the screen, it looks really close, especially when you're going 193 kilometers an hour. You come down this curb, and it just looks like you're right at the end of it almost. You want to make sure you brake nice and light into this last corner. Right? I didn't full brake. I got close to it, but I initially brake heavy on the outside curb with the wheel mostly straight. Right? And then as I come into the corner, I gently ease off the brakes pretty quickly, and I lean in with my steering. And I just make sure that I'm getting grip with all four tires. I'm making sure that I'm not turning in late and the front end's understeering, and I'm also not turning too hard, skidding the rear end out while trail braking. All right, let's watch that from a couple different views. Just a lap. I think so, right? Yeah. Just taking my time coming off the brakes so I don't oversteer. Try to be nice and patient with your turn-in. Keep the car square. Lead it in. Just clean lines, that's all you need. I'm not asking anything extra from the car. It's one thing a lot of people do when they understeer is they just try to ask more from the car. And they're like, no, turn more. And it's like, it's already trying to turn. It can't turn any harder. That's why you're understeering, because you've already exceeded the amount of turn that the car will do. The tire threshold can't handle it. It just can't. You've exceeded physics. Keep the weight in the car so you can still do something with it. Because once it's outside the car, you can't do anything with it. It's just out there, waiting for you to bring it back within all 4 tires. Do hood cam for people that drive in hood cam. I don't recommend it, but if this helps, it helps. Alright, one for the chase cam users. And I'll do the in-car view last, so you can all see the steering input. You'll also be able to notice how much I steer in relation to how much I'm braking. Alright, and in car view. Just nice and patient, stay smooth. Give yourself enough time to turn. All right. And that's a lap guide for race C with race settings using medium tires. For hards, you just want to back it up a little bit, keep the car a little bit more square, and take your time a little bit more on your entries because you're going to have less grip and the car's going to want to slide more. You'll also have to be a little bit more aggressive on your steering because it's a harder compound. You just don't have as much grip at low end. So you have to kind of slow the car down a little bit more, get it rotated a little bit more, and get a little bit straighter of an exit. Yeah, guys, make sure to leave a comment, like and subscribe. Come check us out on Twitch. Hope it helps. Enjoy.